Edible rock cycle. This is one of our campers' favorite activities during camp. We use this at the beginning of camp to introduce them to the rock cycle. For this activity, you will need 1 tablespoon each of 3 different types of chips. We have butterscotch chips, white chocolate chips, and milk chocolate chips here. You will also need a couple of zip top bags. Snack size or sandwich size work best. You will need a cup of very hot water. Make sure to have an adult to help you with this part of it. You also need a freezer or a cup full of ice water. You will need something to crush the chips with. Rubber mallet works well for this if you happen to have one at home. If not, a can of fruit or vegetables will work well too. And lastly, you'll want to have a towel handy for this experiment. In our experiment, each one of our chips is going to represent a different type of rock. Scientists classify rocks by how they are formed. For our purposes, the white chocolate chips will represent igneous rock. Igneous rock is formed from melted rock that is magma in the Earth's surface. Once it erupts and it becomes lava, cools, and hardens to igneous rock. Our milk chocolate chips represent sedimentary rock. Sedimentary rock is formed when other types of rock weather, erode, and settle. They go through a process where they press together to form a new rock. Sedimentary rocks can also often be identified by the layers in them. Our butterscotch chips represent metamorphic rock. Metamorphic rock goes through a change with heat and pressure. You may have heard the term metamorphosis before when you were talking about the life cycle of a butterfly, where the caterpillar changes into a new type of creature. It's the same idea with rock. Heat and/or pressure change the rock into metamorphic rock. Let's start our experiment. The first thing you're going to do is put your 3 different types of chips representing igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rock into a Ziploc bag. Close the top tightly and make sure to get as much air out as possible before closing it. Next, you are going to weather your rock chips. Weathering is when rocks break down. We're going to use a mallet or can to break down our chips. Make sure to use the side of the can, like shown in the picture. If you use the end of the can like this, the little ledge that I'm pointing at might cause holes to rip in your bag and you will lose some of your chocolate, and nobody wants that. Roll the can back and forth over the bag to break the chips into little bitty pieces. You may have to push kind of hard to do this. Now you have a bag of weathered rock chips. After weathering occurs, wind or water cause the rocks to move. This is called erosion. Once they settle, the weight of the layers of more rock settling on top will press them together, and over time they will form sedimentary rock. Use your hand like in the picture before to press down on the bag. Once you've done this, you've created your sedimentary rock. Now our chocolate rock looks a little bit different because the layers did not form like they would in real rock. If they did, we would see a layer of chocolate chips, a layer of butterscotch chips, and a layer of white chocolate. Next, you're going to knead your bag. Think of it like playing with Play-Doh. Squish it, press it, squeeze it. The heat from your hands and the pressure from your hands will cause another change in your chocolate chips. This is similar to the heat and pressure in the earth that causes metamorphic rock to form. You may notice your chips look a little different now. You may see some semi-melted, swirled together lines that look like marble. This is similar to what metamorphic rock would look like. At this point, inspect your bag for any holes. If you have any holes, put your bag inside another bag again removing as much air as possible. This is to protect it in the next step of our experiment. You want to make sure that chocolate is still good to eat once we're done. In a cup large enough to hold your bag of chocolate, have an adult help you add some very hot water. You could take and microwave the cup if the container is safe, or you could heat some water on the stove and then pour it into the cup. Next, put your bag in the cup and let it set for about 5 minutes. Have your adult helper remove the bag from the cup and dry it with a paper towel. You'll notice at this point your chocolate chips have all melted together. This is similar to the formation of igneous rock. Igneous rock is created when, deep inside the earth, rock heats up and melts completely. The final step in making igneous rock is for the molten rock or liquid rock to cool and harden. You can get your chip rock to do this by putting it in the freezer or into a cup of ice water or extremely cold water and letting it set until it hardens. Let's review the rock cycle for a moment. When you've talked about cycles in science class before, you may have talked about the water cycle or the life cycle of an animal. These cycles have a definite direction to them. You'll always see the arrows pointing in the same way. The rock cycle is a little bit different. If you notice, the arrows point in different directions. This is because any type of rock can become any other type of rock, depending on the conditions it is in. Think of it like being on a playground, and there's a slide, a swing set, and a merry-go-round. You can choose to play on any of the things. You may go from the slide to the merry-go-round and back to the slide, or you may go from the slide to the swing and then to the merry-go-round. Rocks can move in different ways in the rock cycle, becoming any of the different types of rocks depending on whether they are weathering, melting, or having heat and pressure applied to them. Now that your chip rock is cool, let's review weathering. Take a bite of your rock, but don't chew or swallow. Right now, that chocolate is in your mouth, starting to melt. This would be similar to chemical weathering. That's like the acid in the rain wearing away at the rock. Now start chewing. This would be mechanical weathering. That would be like other rocks hitting it and chipping some off, or wind or rain touching it. Now swallow the chocolate. This is like erosion. Erosion is rock moving from one place to another. So it's moving from your mouth down to your stomach now. I hope you've enjoyed this activity. Make sure to check out our other Stay and Play Clover Bed Camp activities at www.waynetownship4h.org.